All right, welcome back. It's time again for another mailbag, so let's just get right into it. What do you do to have all that energy? I have deduced by some of your comments you have made over the years that you and I are close to the same age. Yet I feel I'm in a almost perpetual state of fatigue. I feel like just doing the most basic chore wears me out. Yet it has to be done, and I always feel behind. I would love to have the energy I had just even a decade ago, where I could run through the whole house and get it all clean in a matter of hours. Any hints on how to boost energy levels? All right, so first off, you don't get energy. You have all the energy you'll ever need. The same atoms that make you up can power an entire city or lay that city to waste. Look how much power and energy there is in splitting an atom and how many atoms make you up. So you have the energy. It's about releasing energy. So anytime you take action like getting the work done around the house, as you were talking about, your stamina is all about how you release your energy. So in Hermetics, we know that everything's a circuit. There's an input and an output to everything. And if you're having issues with your releasing of energy, then there must be something wrong with your input of energy as well. So that's what we look at first. We look at your input. What are you putting into your body? What is your diet like? What is the fuel that you are putting into your cells? Are you overweight? That'll cause issues right there. And I'm not judging. I mean, look, I have about 10 pounds I need to lose coming out of winter. Once I get out into the yard more, as the weather warms up, that'll melt right off. But being overweight will cause issues. A lot of people think that being overweight, you're well fed, but you're actually starving. Your cells are starving when you're overweight because you have this thing called insulin resistance, which is exactly what it sounds like. The cells become resistant to insulin. So nutrients cannot be delivered to that cell because it says, hey, I'm full of all this sugar, and it won't take anything in. The input is blocked, and so now the body stores everything as fat. So now you actually have more body weight, but less for that body to run on. And that causes all kinds of issues, including fatigue, feeling run down, and even hungry all the time. Because the cells are starving. They want the nutrients. So when you're overweight, you feel hungry, but you're actually starving. The cells aren't getting what they need. So that's really the first thing I would look at is your fuel, your diet. Cut out the sugar and carbs. Make sure you're getting your nutrients and vitamins. If you have a lot of weight to lose, then I would say switch to keto, a keto diet. And starting with a lemon ginger blast, begin juicing. I talk about it in my revival program, but you could also look up how to make it on YouTube here. Tyrone Magnus has an excellent guide on the lemon ginger blast. It's packed with a ton of nutrients and is very anti-inflammatory in nature because it's hard to get around when you hurt all the time as well. You have to keep that inflammation down, and as you get older, unfortunately, that's part of getting old. Everything's a little bit more worn. There's more inflammation, so you need to find things that are going to cut down and regulate that inflammation. You fix one side, you fix the other side. So if you fix your input, you should resolve your output issues also. If you put the wrong fuel in an engine, it's not going to run right, if at all. Now, we're pretty good at going for a while, but eventually things catch up. Now, I would combine that with sigil magic, with your statement of intent being that you continue to look and feel younger every day, so that you can get your subconscious to begin working on the things that are going to be best for you to help you feel and look your best. The older I get, the better I look and feel would be a good one. Oh, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving you medical advice, but I do know a doctor that you should subscribe to, and that's Dr. Berg on YouTube. He's very big on the keto diet, and his channel is just a goldmine of information on health and remedies for all sorts of issues. So definitely check him out. I picked up some of his electrolyte powder that helped eliminate an arrhythmia that I was having. I needed more magnesium. So he's got a lot of videos with a bunch of different ailments and remedies for each one. Definitely subscribe to Dr. Berg. How very polarizing of you to join the bandwagon, X. Okay, so this was on the Talk Smack, Got Smacked early access post. It wasn't even on the video itself, so this person hasn't even watched the video to know that I recognize that it's a polarizing issue. That's the point, so that I can get people to react and know who to get rid of. Even when I tell you that the magician plays both sides and uses polarization to move people, you still fall for it. You're so polarized that you couldn't even wait for the video to come out to comment on it. Now, you're obviously banned, not for that so much but for just not knowing what you're talking about. Had you watched the video, you know that I didn't jump on the bandwagon. The bandwagon was arguing against Will Smith. I took the opposite position on purpose. I know that Will Smith wasn't in the right. He committed assault. He's not in the right. I still found it funny as hell, unlike all comedians who, didn't find it funny because they identify with Chris Rock getting smacked on stage. They don't want no fool coming up and smacking them, which makes it funnier because all the comedians who are supposed to find things funny didn't find that very funny at all. No, I found it hilarious, but Will Smith was in the wrong. But I could still see his position. There are shades of gray. There is a middle ground. It's not all left and right, black and white. So, Wishpunk, sad to see you go, but it doesn't look like you were a subscriber anyway. So, now I'm all for growth, but it needs to be a controlled growth. And by that, I mean sometimes you have to prune the shrubs, prune the trees, so that the growth doesn't get out of hand, so that you can shape the entire plant into the form that you want it to be. With that in mind, I'm not afraid to give people the boot. And a whole lot of people decided to comment on this Will Smith video. Bad headline. Chris Rock is a comedian. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett are people who dish it out and can't take it. The karma that came back is on Smith and his evil family of vile and all of vile Hollywood who are bent on destroying our culture and our country. You know that Chris Rock is part of Hollywood too, right? That vile Hollywood. And I'm not going to disagree with any of that. But again, there's a fine line between a comedian and a professional insult artist. In fact, some of the very worst, deep-cutting insults that are slung by comedians. It's just a joke, man. It's just a joke. People trying to be funny by tearing other people down. But again, this is stuff I've already gone over, and you would have known that had you bothered to watch the video before feeling the need to cast judgment down on others. I dubbed the polarized. And you know what the scripture says, judge not lest ye be judged. So you're banned, but I do so with love and laughter because your rant did crack me up. In a way, you're a comedian who got smacked also. Common sense, germ theory, cases that are indicated by false tests. Really, dude? Talk about someone teaching polarity, right? The irony of it is amusing. Explain and elaborate, please, so I can understand. This man claims to teach magic, quotes information from Hermeticism, etc. He should know, of course, how to use polarity for magic. To oppose the fear of COVID, one only need meet with courage and trust, not mask and PCR tests. All right, so I'm not going to go into the whole mask and corona thing again. It's been beaten to death. I would be right there with you if I hadn't smoked for 30 years. Because I have, my lungs cannot handle that kind of shit. I have had double pneumonia before. I almost died from it. If you've had it once, you'll never ever want to get it again, no matter what. But just as with everything else that you're talking, I doubt that you have the experience of that. Because everything you're saying is hearsay. Have you watched the latest trial with Johnny Depp? The opposing counsel is objecting to everything as hearsay. Because it is hearsay, most of it. Which means you got the information from someone else. It's not from your own firsthand experience. None of what you're saying is from your firsthand experience. What the mainstream media is telling you cannot be relied upon. They lie all the time, both sides. Doesn't matter. Now, you can say that masks don't work. A lot of them don't. But mine does. Mine's better than an N95. So I take precautions so that I don't have to experience double pneumonia again. Now, lately the numbers are down. I've been going into restaurants without a mask and enjoying a meal, and so far I'm fine. I made it through without getting anything one single time. Oh, that's kind of weird. I just had my phone begin playing Arion's song, Condemned to Live, on its own. I didn't turn it on or nothing. It just started going dun 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 dun. Dun. I thought my ringtone was going off, but it wasn't my ringtone, actually. I was like, what the hell? Condemned to Live. Just as I was saying, I never got the Rona. But look, I don't need to explain myself to you because you're banned anyway. And so is your other little partner here who decided to quip in about teaching polarity being ironic. Do you know what polarity really is? It's judgment. You're casting judgment. You just cast it on me.
Polarized.
And you have to understand that when you're polarized like that, you're a narcissist. There's a big narcissistic quality to being polarized. Because you're like, my way is the right way, and therefore it should be the only way. Is that not what you're doing here? Casting judgment? Do you not think that I lay little polarity traps so that I know who to call to separate the wheat from the chaff? The only reason you're responding to it is because you're polarized. You were moved to do so. You couldn't help yourself. You're a narcissist. You keep outing yourselves on who to get rid of. Your clips help me discover your other videos, Frater. Thank you. You are most welcome. This is what they're meant for. I know many people had issues with the clips, but I have dialed them back so that they're not every single day anymore. They're twice a week. So as of this recording, we're with 2 clips per week, 1 regular video per week. Except on the 3rd week of the month, which is a Thoth Life video exclusive for Patreon Subscribe Star and YouTube memberships. But I am glad that some people are getting from the clips what they were intended for. Can a spirit or another being influence you into alcohol addiction? Of course. Now, your planetary placements in your chart are going to have something to do with it as well, but spirits are excellent at putting thoughts into your head and getting you to think that the thoughts are your own. I mean, the scripture doesn't call the demons principalities of the air for nothing. Air corresponding to thoughts. The exercise that I gave out for the banish, reject, and deny the thoughts that you're having early on in this channel is there to get rid of these things, is to help wrestle control of your mind back from these principalities. Because if you don't give in to what they're telling you to do, then they're going to go somewhere else. They're not going to bother with you. They're going to give up and go away and find somebody else who will give in. That one exercise alone can change your life completely. It's a very liberating and delivering practice. So, yeah, absolutely. They can influence your thoughts. They try to get you to drink. They try to get you to take drugs. They try to get you to do all kinds of things. Or they'll just try to put the worst thoughts into your head. Thoughts of dying, all kinds of things. But if you say, I reject that thought, go away, leave me alone, and you just continue to do that, then they will, in fact, leave you alone. Because them not getting you to do things or getting a fear response out of you is no fun for them. You really do seem to have serious health issues quite often. Yeah, no kidding. Do you have any idea why? Maybe some astrological reasons in regards to your birth chart? There has to be a cause. I feel like every few months or so, you or some of your pets get really ill. I wish you the best and many blessings. Get well soon, Frater. Well, this is a multifaceted question because, yes, there is something in my astrological chart. My rising sign is Pisces. And when the Pisces video is released on YouTube, go ahead and watch it because it will explain a lot about how Pisces absorbs energy into itself, especially negative energy. That can cause it to become quite ill. Now, I do clean my energy on the regular, but it's not always foolproof. Some things can get through. But I'm not going to blame my hospitalization on that. I mean, look, when I was sick for 11 days, I'm pretty sure that was food poisoning, in which case that's kind of on me. I must have ate something bad because when they gave me the antibiotics for it, then I started getting better. the time that I was hospitalized for pericarditis, inflammation of the heart, which you can get from viral. It's because I was in the waiting room of my dermatologist, who shares a waiting room with other doctors, and there was an old lady in there coughing her head off not that far from me, all over the place, before the time of wearing masks. And then people wonder why I want to wear a mask around people who are just sick and coughing their heads off all the time. I do have a bit of OCD. I'm not a total germaphobe, but I'm starting to understand why a lot of people are. And then when it came to my hospitalization with double pneumonia, well, I got that from vaping. I had been off cigarettes, had switched to vape, and then when I got double pneumonia again, I quit the vape. So even though it almost killed me, it was probably the best thing for me, because that got me off of everything. And then the cellulitis, well, that's my fault. I was crawling around, taking care of the cat, cleaning up his litter after him, but I did so on my bare knees. I was wearing basketball shorts. I should have been wearing jeans. So I got a little cut abrasion, and the bacteria got in my leg that way. And as for my pets, they don't get sick often. They have normal, healthy lives. My cat, who had gotten cancer, passed away at 14. That's average lifespan for a cat. Had she not gotten cancer, I felt she could have lived another at least 5-6 years. Easy. She was pretty healthy. The cat that just had his eye removed, well, if that didn't happen, he wouldn't be our indoor cat now. That had to happen for him to come inside and be one of the chosen few, so to speak. Years go by and nothing happens to our cats, but sometimes they do. And the same with our other pets. They were older when they started having their problems. That's just part of getting old. You begin to have more and more health issues. But it's just not all the time. It's just that when I get something, it's usually something big. You'll rarely see me just get a cold, and I never get the flu or any of the normal, quote-unquote, sick stuff. It always tends to be something like, well, how the hell did you get that? Which is either somebody gave it to me, I caught it from somebody else, or through my own stupidity. But maybe it goes to show why I don't like to be around people without my mask on hand. I don't want to be around any of that. You fools who give me a hard time about wearing a mask, I've been in the hospital more than any of you. Once bitten, twice shy. What it really comes down to is I just don't trust you to be germ-free. I was in the restaurant the other day. Waitress starts coughing all over the place, running through the whole restaurant, coughing her head off. She's like, "It's okay. I just breathed in some pepper." Okay. Was in the store the other day. Got a bunch of kids coughing their heads off. No, I don't care if it's corona, pneumonia, bronchitis, the flu, a cold. I don't want it. It's also good if people frickin' stink. Put my damn mask on. It's better than N95. Won't smell your stench anymore. Those who insist on wearing too much cologne or perfume. My God, how much you need. When I got my sense of smell back, I didn't want that to be part of the deal. Anyway, I'm going to cut it here. I've gone on long enough. Orange balls keep showing up out of nowhere. Keep sending me your manifestations. And remember, if you wear Mind and Magic merch, if you wear it, I will share it. Please leave a link or comment below, unless it's going to be something snarky to get you banned. And I will see you next time. Take care.